Hello and welcome back to our third video restructuring series. Jack Callow on the couch once again, joined by Luke Venner in the chair.
In the chair this time, yep.
How are you, Luke?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Very well indeed, very well indeed.
Good.
So the series is going to be centred mainly around capital extraction. So I'm going to start by posing a question to you, Luke. I want to retire, I have a company. What are my options?
Well, lucky you, first of all. It's a nice problem to have. So what are your options? So there are always two sort of principal considerations. You get to the point, you're walking away from a good business, hopefully. First consideration is always going to be, how can I make as much money out of this as possible? Not always, it's probably fair to say, but nine out of 10 times it's important. So how can you maximise value? The second consideration is going to be around tax ordinarily. So how can I minimise the tax liabilities within the scope of the law?
Maximises the cash.
Which maximises cash. So there are a number of ways of doing this, which will very much depend on what sort of business you're running, the size of the business. So we might be looking at a share sale. I won't talk too deeply about shares because I know you're looking at that separately with asset sales, but you might be selling your shares to a third party, for example. So you're keeping the company; it's a going concern, but you're exiting effectively and getting some money for that. It might be that you're looking at an asset and trade deal. So you're selling your assets, the trade in the company, to a third party, and they're putting it into their company. It might be that if you're a private limited company, you're a sole proprietor, for example, there isn't possibly a business to pass on to a third party because you could be a consultant, for example. So the goodwill is you effectively. So you're not selling a business per se, but you'll have cash in your company. You'll have other assets. You might have properties that you need to turn into cash or extract for the benefit of you and other shareholders. So that can be achieved through what's called a solvent liquidation or a member's voluntary liquidation procedure. And that it's a process that's overseen by a licensed insolvency practitioner. It provides a structure and a mechanism for doing things in the right way. It's an orderly close down, if you like. Not only is it orderly, you ordinarily have tax benefits because the capital is distributed at what's called a capital rate as opposed to income tax if you're distributing cash via dividends, for example. And you might be as lucky to get 10% tax charge if you qualify for what's called business asset disposal relief.
And that's the old entrepreneurs.
Exactly, that's exactly the old one that probably more people will be familiar with. So there are some real tax benefits there, particularly where if you're taking it out as dividend income, as opposed to going through a solvent liquidation procedure, you might be getting clobbered at 45% tax. So there's some good tax advantages there. And like I said before, it provides a proper structured mechanism for doing things, and the end result is not just about getting out the capital. It's about the company being no more effectively and then getting dissolved through the process.
So it's interesting, isn't it, that you use the word liquidation because of the stigma that often attaches to liquidation. So you're completely flipping it on the head here in terms of a liquidation is a valuable tool to be used in closing down the business and getting value out of that business at a tax efficient rate. So it's a complete flip really on what we're used to.
It is.
In the context of liquidation. So brilliant intro to the series. Thank you very much for putting that together.
You're welcome.
Join us next time for our next video, which will be on share sales versus trade and asset sales. Thanks again for your input, Luke.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Join us next time. Thank you.